Hi, in this video I'm looking at this problem here where we've taken a sample with these numbers and we want to determine a 97% confidence interval for the mean of the population. So if we have our actual sample numbers, we need to first work out what is the mean of our sample and what is the standard deviation of our sample. To do that, we're going to use our calculator. We could use either a graphics calculator or a scientific calculator to do this. I'm going to use the graphics calculator. We're going to go to our statistics menu on this CASIO CG-50, and we're going to enter in our numbers. So we've got 32, execute, 43, execute, 36, 47, 40, 39, 51, 32, 36, 39, 38, 43, 46, 48, 39, 44, 48, 46, 36, and 49. So we put our numbers in, and then under our calc menu, we can have one var, and it gives us our single variable statistics. And we can see up the top, we have our mean, 41.6. So we'll write that in here, 41.6. And we have two standard deviations, sigma x and sx. Now normally sx is our sample standard deviation, but the calculator assumes that we actually have put in our entire population. So we want to take the top one, 5.5533. So we got 5.5533. Or 34 it should be. So I'll put in 34. So now that we've got our sample mean and standard deviation, we need to get our population mean and standard deviation. Now, our population mean is the same as our standard mean, so they're both the same. But our population standard deviation, which we're going to get from our sample, is going to be given by our sample standard deviation divided by the square root of our sample size. So we're going to have our 5.5534 divided by the square root of our sample size. We had 20 numbers. And so if we go back to our calculator and we work this out, so I'm going to go back to our menu and go to run matrix, and we're going to put in 5.5534, and we're going to divide by the square root of 20. And while I'm here, I'm going to store this into, we'll call it A, just so that we have it for later. So that gives us a standard deviation of 1.2417. So 1.24, 1.2417. We'll round it up to 18. So there's our standard deviation. And so now we want to work out our confidence interval. First step to work out the confidence interval is we'll work out our proportion. And so our proportion is 0.5 plus or minus our proportion as a decimal divided by 2. So we're going to have 0.5 plus or minus 0.97 divided by 2. I'm just going to do the plus version of that to put into our calculator. So 0.5 plus 0.97 divided by 2, 0.985. So our proportion is 0.985. And so now we're going to use our inverse normal distribution to get our confidence interval, or the upper bound of our confidence interval, and it takes our proportion alpha, 0.985, our standard deviation, and our mean. So we'll put those numbers into there. So we have 0 we've first got to get our inverse normal, so we're going to go to Option, Stat, Distribution, Normal, Inverse, put in our 0.985, so put in answer, comma. We then need our standard deviation, which we have up here, which I put into A, and we need our mean, which was 41.6. Execute, and so we get our upper limit of 44.29. So the upper limit on our confidence interval is 44.29. So we got 44.29. And so now we need to work out our lower limit. Now for our lower limit, we have our mean here of 41.6. We have a gap of just under 3 to get to our upper limit of 44.29. We're going to go the same gap down here to get our lower limit. So our lower limit is going to be our mean, 41.6, minus off this gap, which is going to be our upper limit, minus our mean. So chucking that into our calculator, we're going to have our mean, 41.6, minus our upper limit, which is in our answer, minus off our mean, 41.6. Execute, and there's our lower limit, 38.91. 38.91. So therefore, we can now write our confidence interval. So our 97% confidence interval is, our lower limit is 38.9. We'll just round that to 38.9. So we got 38.9. And our upper limit is 44.3. And there we go. So if you have our sample, we've collected our numbers and we've listed them out here, and we want to determine our confidence interval, we first have to work out our sample's mean and standard deviation, work out our population from that, work out our proportion, and then find our confidence interval. We used our calculator this time to work it out because we had a 97% confidence interval, but we could also use something from memory to help us too if we had something that we know, something common, perhaps like 95%.